Okay guys, so next up we're going to learn about arrays. So let me just take out this template literal and cut it out. Open up our template literal file, paste it in here, and let's create a new file. So this will be 08 arrays and .js. Okay, now let's go back into our app and let's type in here comment arrays. So what are arrays? Well, arrays are list-like objects whose prototype has methods to perform traversal and mutation operations. Neither the length of the JavaScript array nor the type of its element are fixed. Okay, so let's just give an example of an array. And for this, I'm just going to create a const. I'm going to name it simple array. So this is just a name, this is not array, but with the way we define arrays is by parentheses, and let's type in here a few values. I'm just typing in some values. It doesn't matter what we type in, but I typed in number values, okay? So let's console log this array, and let's type in here simple array, and let's see what happens. And nothing happened because I have to relaunch the server. Okay, there we go. Let's inspect it and open up our console. So there we have our array. Now let's open it up, and as you can see, arrays are zero based. That means they start from 0, they go 1, 2, 3, 4, and so far and so on, depending on how many items we have in an array. Okay, so our array has a length of 5 items, but they start with 0. And also down here, you can see it's defined as an array. If we would type in here, type of operator, and it will give us an object as always. It will not give us an array. Okay, let's close this up. Next up, we're going to look at the array object. So let's type in here comment array object. And the way we create an array object, I'm just going to create now another const, and don't forget this is just an A. I'm going to name it array object, and then when we create an array object is by typing in new array. You can see this is a object, and now we'll use normal parentheses. Now we can type in here some values. So whatever we type in here, doesn't matter. I'm just using again a few numbers, and now let's console log our array object, and let's see, we will get the same thing. So we're getting exactly the same thing, but this time I used the array object. Next up, let's create an array of strings. So until now we used numbers to create our array, or we included numbers in our array, and now let's include strings. So this is also pretty straightforward. I'm just going to create a const again. I'm going to name it, let's say cars, and let's give this array a few values. So let's see BMW, and there should be a string. So BMW, then Skoda, then Audi, and Tesla. Okay, now let's console log our cars. And let's see what we get. We get an array of strings. Now, because this is JavaScript, we can use different data types in arrays. Normally, we cannot use this in our language, for example, in C++, or in Java. But here, let's type in here mixed array. I'll just create a new const Let's call this mixed array, and we could give it values like numbers of 14, 25, and then I would give it a string of Norbert, and I could then give it a null value, then a boolean of true, then a not a number, and also another boolean of false. And now let's console log this and let's see if this works. So mixed array, let's see what we get. As you can see, we can get everything that we typed in there. So numbers, string, null, booleans, true and false, not a number. We can include everything, any type of data into an array. Okay, now let's initialize a variable and let's see what kind of properties we have in arrays. So I'm going to just initialize now a let, and I'm going to call it array. Now let's assign this array a value of simple, or I'm going to take the simple array that we created here, and I'm initializing this array because I'm going to console log it down here, and I started with let, so I can not assign it. I'm going to use this variable and assign a different value. So first of all, I'm going to assign it the simple array value, and now I'm going to type in dot length. So when we console log array, we'll get the length of 5. So as I said, if we take a look up here where we console logged our simple array, you can see it has the length of 5, and also down here when we're checking its length, it results 5 again. So this is the way we can check the length of an array. We could also check if it is an array. So for example, let's take array again, and now I'm going to use the array object up here and then type in is array. Now I'm going to check if the simple array is an array, and it's going to prompt me with true. I could also check the array object if it's an array. So let me just replace it here, and it's also true. Now if I would replace this with a string, so let's turn this into a string, it's going to prompt me with false. Okay, so let's undo this. Now let's see how we can get values from an array. So let's take this simple array again down here, and if I want to get, actually I'm going to copy this and take out the length, and if I want to get something for the simple array, so I just console log the array again, simple array. So let's say we want to get 124, and for this I'm going to use, so we're going to take the number 1, and we got 124. If I would type in 0, then I would get the first value, which was 15. So let's check it out. Yep, it's 15. If I want to get the last one, so let me take out this. So the last one was actually number 4. So let's select number 4, and I should get 325. So as I said, arrays are 0 base. So they start at 0 with the numeration. So now comes the question, can we modify an array? Can we add or take out something from an array? So let's take a look at how can we insert and replace to an array. So let me copy this, and I actually don't need to redefine it. So let's say for the value of 0, I'm going to assign it a new value of 200. So let's check this out. we still console log. So let's console log simple array. You can see the first number was now replaced. We'll still have it up here, which was this didn't change. Just a sec, let me hit the save again. Oh yeah, because it's actually showing me here the initial value, and then if we take a look in the array, you can see it's already changed. Okay, so this is the way we can change the value in an array. We can also find the index of an array. So let's take, for example, this cars array. Let's go down here. And let me just take array again, the variable array. And let's type in here cars. So assign it to cars and index of. And now I'm going to choose, let's say, the Audi. So the string of Audi. And now let's console log array again, and let's see what happens. So I'm getting the index 2. So where did we have it up here? So 1 2 3. So this should be 0 1 2. It is the index 2 Audi. If I would now take Tesla, this should be index 3. So let's check it out. Yep, it's index 3. Okay, so this is the way we can get the index of an item out of an array. Now let's take a look how we can mutate arrays. So let me type in here comment, mutating arrays. And we can mutate an array by, let's say, adding to the end of the array. So let's take our simple array. Actually, I'm going to do this with cars. So I'm going to take cars, and the way we add something is by typing in push. So when we use the push method, and I'm just going to push here, let's say a Dacia. Now if I would console log cars again, you can see Dacia was added to the end of the array. Let's check it out. Now the length is 5, and at the number 4, at the position 4, we have Dacia added. Now if you want to remove something from the end of the array, so this is not removing from any way out of the array, but from the end. So let me type in here comment, remove from the end of the array, then we will use the pop method. So cars dot pop, and I'm just going to open and close it. And as soon as I do this, if I console log cars again, you see Dacia is no longer in the array. Now if you want to add something at the start of an array, so let's type here another comment, add to the start of the array, we'll use the unshift method. So cars dot unshift, and now we'll type in here what I want to add. So let's say we'll add a Ford. Let's type in here the string of Ford. Okay, and now if we console log cars again, we got Ford at the start of the array. You can obviously add also numbers, so I can add 150 for example, and now we have 150 at the start of the array. And if I want to remove something from the start of the array, so let's type in here remove from the start of the array, then we will use the shift method. So cars dot shift, and just open and close parentheses, close it up. Now if we console log cars, let's see, 150 is now removed. We can also reverse arrays. So let me show you how this works. Reverse arrays. So let's take the cars and just type in dot reverse. And this method will reverse our array. So normally it should now start with Tesla and end with BMW. We can also concatenate arrays. So let me type here another comment, concat arrays. Let me scroll up so we have more space. So I would just take the variable that we created of array and now assign it the simple array dot concat, and we want, and now we need to type in with what we want to concatenate it with. I'm just going to concatenate it with the array of cars. And now if I console log array again, we will get our first array of simple array and then the cars array. Okay, now let's take a look at how we can sort arrays. So let's type in your comment, sorting arrays. So I'm going to take our array variable again and assign it cars dot sort. And now if we console log cars again, you'll see it's sorted in an alphabetical order. Okay, Audi, BMW, Skoda, and Tesla. Let's try this also for the simple array. So let me copy this because that had numbers in it. So let's take this and actually should have console logged arrays here and also here. And as you can see, also the numbers are sorted, but this isn't highest number, but they are sorted always by their starting. So 1, 1, 1, then 2, then 3, 2, 5. Okay, so they're sorted actually after the highest first number. So for numbers, we need to a compare function in order to sort the number. So we can do this by typing in array. So let's take our variable that we created and array object now and dot sort. And now we're going to create a function which will take in two values, the x and the y, so we can compare the x and y to each other, and this should return a x minus y. Okay, now if I would console log array, so we have this console log for this one, and now if I console log array again and hit save, actually I should put in here the simple array so we can have the same example. You can see it's sorted from the lowest to the highest value. And if we want to do it the other way around, then let me just copy this, and actually I'm going to replace it here. Oh no, let me put the console log here so you can have the difference. So then we take y minus x. This would be the other way around. So the first value and then the second value. This just means that we will constantly take the first value and then subtract the second value from it. Now we are taking the second value and subtracting the first value from it. Okay, last up, we're going to take a look at the find method. Let's type in here, find method. Now this takes in a testing function and will find the first number. And because I mutated our arrays a couple of times, I'm just going to comment everything out. So I'm going to comment, no, not this, but just from here. So from where we started our arrays. And let me create a new array, let number. And I'm going to create here an array with, let's say, I'm just going to type in a few numbers. Okay, let's close up our array. Now let's create a function let's call it less than 100. Okay, and this will wait for a number. And a function, I know we didn't learn about functions, but a function always needs to return something. This will return the number that is less than 100. Okay, so now let's take this function. Let me create an array, let's say array 2, and I'm going to assign this the number, and now dot find. Okay, and what should it find? It should taking this function right here. Now let's console log the array 2, and let's see what happens. So out of the entire numbers that we had here, the only one number that is less than 100 is 35. Let's change this one also, and now it's found 85. Okay guys, so that's pretty much it for arrays for now, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.